All right, hi.
Hi. Good to see you.
Oh, another week.
Another
video.
And we are doing something great this week, aren't we?
Tell them what we're doing.
We are going on a field trip to Pacific Furniture Manufacturer. They have been in the Valley for, oh my gosh, over 40 years, I think. He said third generation.
Like 70 years.
It is a made in America product. So we are going to be talking to Mark about how furniture is actually made.
Mark's gonna show us all about how things are ordered, how they're made, the craftsmanship that goes into these pieces. Because you gotta see what you're sitting on.
Gotta see what you're sitting on.
Because you gotta see what's inside what you're sitting on.
So we are so excited to bring you this informational tour.
Here we go.
Pacific Furniture, third generation furniture manufacturer here in Phoenix.
Hey guys, welcome.
We've been doing business with Mark and Beth Irwin at Pacific Furniture for 29 years. They have made furnishings for our clients, and we've also shipped their products throughout the United States.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit just about Pacific Furniture, how long you guys have been in business, and just generally what you do here.
Okay, sure. So Pacific was started in 1958 by my father and grandfather. So I literally grew up crawling on these concrete floors that are right here we're about to go through. And
awesome.
We've had our kids and our grandkids, they all play here. So about 20 years ago, we started really focusing on made-to-order furniture for the interior design trade. We like to just stay local. So 90% of what we do stays within the Arizona marketplace.
Oh. And what kind of furniture do you make here? Is it all furniture or sofas or chairs? Like
the primary thing we focus on is upholstery furniture. So that could be a sectional or a headboard or a bed or ottoman or bench, chairs.
Anything with fabric.
Anything with fabric, except motion furniture. We don't do motion furniture, but we do sleeper sofas and
what's motion furniture?
Like recliners.
So we'll let you show us around if you would.
Let's take a tour.
Sure, let's go. Most of our orders originate in our showroom in Scottsdale. You've been there many times, where you can make all the selections of the fabrics and the finishes and the sizes and all of those things come together in the showroom. And so we have a lot of fabrics there and leathers, but we also can bring fabrics or leathers from the interior designer. So that's a rarity, but it's a very open thing called customer's own material.
You have a beautiful showroom that has leathers, all different kinds of leathers. And I would say just a wonderful selection, then all different vendors, manufacturers of fabric, and so much to choose from that you really don't have to go anywhere else.
That allows us 50,000 different choices, which is why most consumers need an interior designer to kind of narrow those selections down.
Can anyone just design their own sofa? Or do you guys have a set menu of things that you build?
That is a great question. So it's a template-driven model, and 95% of the furniture that people want, they'll have an inspiration picture or something. We'll go, oh, that's our Zurich, or that's our Chamonix, and we already make it. And then we just make it to the size in their fabric with their cushion fill, no hesitation. The caveats are that we don't copy anybody, and we don't duplicate, and that's for ethical reasons, because we didn't design that, we don't own that. And practical reasons, because you as a designer don't want to sell, oh, I can reproduce exactly that, because nobody has those patterns or templates or engineering that went into it, and you're just setting yourself up for disaster.
Correct.
So instead we say, okay, it's going to sit like this, it's going to be this size, it's going to be in this fabric, and we're going to capture elements of that inspiration piece that you want.
One of the things that my clients have really enjoyed about specifying your product for their homes or their businesses is that they can actually come to the showroom and pick out their interior fills of their seat cushions. So they can set up their comfort level, right? And they can feel the depth of the piece, the height of the piece. Do they want it firm in the back and a little bit softer in the cushion? And that is what is so, I mean, it's wonderful for them.
Yeah,
right?
I think once the consumer understands that this is being tailored specifically to their comfort level,
Yes.
we call it the Goldilocks chairs because we have small, medium, large, and extra large. And then different depths and different comfort feels because no two people are made alike. In addition, there's different health requirements. So, sometimes, it might be a middle-aged woman comes in and she's got back trouble.
Yes.
Well, she can't sink into a piece and be comfortable. And we work with a lot of professional athletes kind of on the other side.
Yes,
When
you
you're
do.
6'8", you're not going to go down to the corner store and find something that's going to feel comfortable for you. So when you start with an order in the showroom, we're working on the same system, so we're not getting translated into notes and clipboards and ordering things. It's all self-contained, and we wrote this. It's our own, personalized software. In fact, I pulled up this company called Interiors Remembered here, and it looks like their first order was in 1999 in our system.
Oh.
Trying not to date you too much, but so that's good. This starts off at the factory or at the showroom, where all those selections are made for size and style and depth and color and all those individual pieces. And it really is just a configurator. So it's a check the box all the way down, so every order is complete.
Yes.
And then it prices it according to that order. It's based on the configuration that you choose. It goes through that process. All of our fabrics can be graded into our furniture. So you can actually go through and select the fabric, and it calculates the yardage and puts it in. So it saves a step for the designer because they don't have to then order separate fabric unless they want to.
Right.
There are other fabric brands out there, although we don't like to say that. Then all of those components are entered in there. The designer's working with their client. They can present their client right there with the price of that custom piece of furniture. One stop, one order, one deposit, ready to go. Once an order is confirmed, and we know what we're making, you've signed off, your client has signed off, they've given us the deposit, then it enters into our system and we start receiving things. So we start ordering Lux down cushions or special legs if you have special legs. You can COM nail heads, legs, the fabrics, the trims. So we're kind of know what we're expecting. We receive all of those items into here, and until we receive everything, we really can't move forward with production. It's actually called lean manufacturing, one-piece flow. So the idea is we don't release anything into the factory until we have all of the components, and it can come through in one piece, so nothing gets dirty, kicked aside, nothing gets lost. So as those items come together, we print a ticket,
That
and it
makes
goes
sense.
over here, and it gets stored in a bin. So you'll see specific fabrics have now come in against specific orders, and now we've generated the ticket that goes on the piece of furniture, which gets shorter as it goes through.
Yes.
The craftspeople start signing their name to it. They all take a lot of pride in what they do. There's specific CAD drawings and dimensions and things, just so all of the details that we talked about in the showroom are communicated. So then that goes in this roll of fabric, and going from this direction over is the cube. There's two types of manufacturing at this stage. So one way that we will do it is if it's repeatable and we have it in CAD and in digital technology, we'll cut it on this machine right here, which is called a Gerber cutter, and so it cuts repeatable things.
So this would be more like cushion size, standard cushion sizes, pillow sizes. Are those repeatable things?
They are, but there are actually styles that we have that are repeatable. In fact, we just introduced a line called Simply Pacific, and it comes through a little faster, more affordable.
We want more affordable.
Yeah, because we have programmed it on this. A lot of things will be cut by hand in this area. As an example, this is a batch of leather that just came in. So leather comes in hides. We have several tanneries that we represent. So this represents one cow, and this is a very natural looking hide. It has a light hand to it, all aniline dyed. The cutter is going to go through and mark defects on the hide so that they're not included in any area that's going to be very visible to the customer. So the arm tops, the seat tops, the inside backs, those things are going to get the premium leather, and then they're going to grade it, and things like the zippers on the back that don't show, they might have a little bug bite or something on them, right?
Yes.
But it's all a hand-done process to get it graded just right. So leather is a different animal. Yeah. No cows are ever killed for their hide. Leather is a byproduct of the beef industry, so as long as we have a beef industry, we're reusing something that would normally be wasted. So this is an order coming together. And the fabric just gets cut by hand, actually with these fancy little scissors. From there, everything goes through a sewing process. And so different fabrics will receive different treatments. So there's overlock machines to lock down the edges of fabric, single needle machines, double needle machine. The double needle can do either baseball stitch or top stitch. Right now, top stitch is by far our most popular treatment on seams. Look at this fabric.
Oh, that's boucle.
It's a boucle. Heavy boucle.
Love the boucle. It's a real heavy, nice boucle.
Yeah, I believe this is from our Italian mill called Imitex, and it's just fantastic. And the frames now are coming together to blend with that. So at the same time that we ordered out the fabric and laid that out, we ordered a frame from our frame shop.
So now they're merging.
This is what we do with the frame shop. So primarily we use kiln-dried alder, which grown in the Pacific Northwest, sustainably grown, hardwood frame. When you get something that is, first of all, Arizona's a little dry. I don't know if you heard that memo. You bring in lumber into Arizona, and if it's not dried to the dryness, then it'll start warping, cracking, and your joints start failing. Okay, so this is kiln-dried to like 4% humidity, so it comes in here, it's not going to shift. Then we cut it here on this saw, which actually creates these boards out of rough boards. So we're cutting the roughness off the sides of it. We're getting long boards. Then this area over here cuts those boards into lengths. So we're really building a kit, if you will. So in this area, we're doing secondary processing. So bandsaw for cutting curves, cutting angles, drilling and inserting T-nuts, planing, sanding if we need any of that. This may not seem like a very hard thing to do, but saws cut straight very well. Cutting circles is a bit more of a challenge, or cutting shapes. So this tool is called the CNC router. So we lay down a piece of plywood, again, sustainable plywood, carb compliant, the best you can get, and then it'll cut shapes out of it. So it might be a curvy chair, it might be a bar stool, but it really allows us to cut any shape on a vector. So similar to the fabric cutter, it just is using a computer program to cut the shape that we need.
Is this for a bar stool?
This is actually for an ottoman.
Oh, it's for an ottoman.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
So this will be an ottoman.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh, great.
So this is an oval ottoman. So we actually did this in CAD. We cut the tops on the CNC, and now we're what we call pickle barreling the sides of it so that we get a solid structure. These are T-nuts that the legs are going to screw into. So there's a lot of thinking that goes into it before the frame gets made, like where will the legs be? We've never made this ottoman before. So it's taking those years of experience of the craftsman saying, okay, we're going to need 6 legs on this thing, otherwise it's going to be tippy. Yeah. Once the frames get completed and assembled, so the lumber's been cut, then they get put together a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. So this is a part of a sectional called a wedge, and if you look at all of the angles and all of the joints coming together, the angles that these are cut at, the solid joints, one of the things about quality furniture is really the joint construction, and especially the squareness of the joints.
Yes.
So
you don't get creaking, you don't get movement.
Exactly. The lumber is one thing, the attachment is another thing, but the real thing that makes it work is the tightness of the joints. So we guarantee our frames for a lifetime. I think maybe we get one back a year, maybe. I mean, they do not fall apart. But at this stage, we're taking that frame and we're inserting springs and webbing. So we'll use webbing on the back where there's a loose cushion and the cushion is creating comfort. Underneath, we'll use wire-attached sinuous springs. In the industry, some people look for 8-way hand-tie springs. That's a big, thing that's been out there for generations. We don't do 8-way hand tying because we don't have it wouldn't allow us the flexibility. And really, it's about comfort and durability. And 8-way hand tie is a great
term.
It's a great term, and it can be well constructed, but there's also garbage coming out of foreign countries that are 8-way hand ties. So that's not the bellwether of highly constructed, good quality furniture.
Not all 8-way hand tie is created equal.
Correct. And a lot of it makes noise. So
Yes,
squeaky furniture is 8-way hand tie. So this area is where we take what the client chose in the Goldilocks area. It's on the order. So at this stage, we're cutting the foam to size. It could be a bench seat, could be 3 seats, could be 2 seats, could have a T-cushion. So we actually take it's not a raw material, but the prefabricated length, and then we cut it to the size to fit to the cushion core after the cushion is made, which is important. Nobody else that I know of does this, but every fabric stretches differently, every leather stretches differently, so that makes sure that the cushion fits perfectly on your piece. We started with rolls of fabric, cutting the fabric. Then we started with sticks of wood at the same time, and they went through their processes, and this is where they come together. So now the frame has been made. That same serial number that began way back in the showroom when the order was entered is right here. Any specific notes, dimensional changes, things that the designer told us in the showroom is right here. And obviously the customer's name. And then that marries up with the fabrics that have been cut and sewn to the same specifications. So now they're going to come together in upholstery. Most of the time, what we're doing is called bench crafted work. So one person will make that entire sectional, not just one piece, they'll make the whole sectional because every craftsman has a little different pull, a little different pleat. 6 dining chairs are all made by the same person, same reason. You want them all to match and be perfect. So they will start with really the frame, which is almost the skeleton. Then we get the muscles, which is the things that form the shape. And then on top of that, we put the skin, which is the fabric. So this is all coming together in a coordinated effort between all the craftsmen so that by the time it comes to here, everything is there and kind of a lot of craftsmanship. It still just kind of comes together the way it needs to. This is for unruly designers.
Yeah, that's right.
You
the
better
designer that specifies the
toe the
right.
line. I made that sofa right. This is actually called a shove stick.
Oh, okay.
So you use that to push the fabric underneath the arms. So like back over here, behind the inside back, he had the fabric and he did that to paddle it into
okay.
the piece. Put craftsmen in charge of doing things. You get some kind of fun stuff. So like these are all sticks of different lengths that he can take up against the board and measure exactly so his staples all go across at the same size. This is one of my particularly favorite ones. I think they did a little time in the big house, to make their own.
A little shank we have going on here.
Shank on, but they love these. They take the blades from the fabric cutting knife like that, and they're super high tensile strength, and they make a handle for them. And it's the sharpest blade they can find. This is where everything gets detailed out. All the threads are trimmed, the legs are assembled, the cushions are put together, and we fully assemble every piece we make. So if it's a bed with rails and a sandbox, we fully assemble that piece. Every sectional comes together to make sure that all the tolerances are acceptable and the sectional locks are in the right place. Because it's better to take care of something here with a little extra effort than to get it out in the field where you got a problem. So this is our studio area, which is really the last step of the process where
this is what I wait for.
Yeah.
I wait to see if my piece is getting photographed and sent over to our office for approval.
So the other reason it's important to have this final photograph is we send it to the designer so they can look at it, and believe me, there are times the designer said, oh my gosh, I'm not sending my delivery truck, it was supposed to be green and it's blue, and some fabric company, some fabric company, some guy in the warehouse picked the wrong roll of fabric, but at least we stopped it here. But then it also creates an ongoing catalog for us, because no two pieces that we make are ever necessarily alike. So we have a 5-year reference point to go back in the showroom. They can say, oh yeah, we made one like this 4 years ago. We pull up the picture. Then your customer can go, oh, okay, I get it. That's what my sofa is going to be like. It populates our website, our social media, and our Instagram. So really good to capture that picture.
Yes, very good.
So as we talked about the photograph, and you got the photograph, you're excited. At the same time, you get the balance of your invoice, you pay the invoice, and then we release it. And you can coordinate your own delivery driver, which we really love because you coordinate with the client's schedule and the delivery driver, and I don't have to mess with it.
We handle the details.
So this is all furniture waiting for the designer to pick up. They've been notified that it's available and to pick up, and so they'll come down.
Let's take it all. Let's go. Well-structured, made furniture, made in America, is so very important. I'm a furniture snob, am I not? I'm a little bit of a furniture snob. I know a lot about it.
Well, I remember in our last video, you said, I want to see a crown.
I don't want to see one flat cushion. I want a little crown to it.
Crown? See how it's crowned so beautifully?
A third of the cost of our furniture is inside this bag. It's the foam, because we buy such high quality foam, and it's because it's not seen by the customer. It's the first place a company can cheap out on is by putting garbage foam inside the product, because you can't tell until you own it and you've made the last payment. And then, and then you're stuck with it. And we replace a lot of furniture from people who have bought from major brands, but they get it in their house and they're just like, this is junk. This sits terrible. It's uncomfortable. It looks bad. It hasn't held its shape. And then they buy our furniture. We get reupholstered pieces of furniture after 15 years. That crown is still there.
I want to sit in it.
Sit it. Sit on it. Ooh. It doesn't have back.
I didn't have a back on it. So this feels good.
Yes, supportive. Now watch how when you get up that, it recovers. Look how the cushion recovers so beautifully because of the quality of the foam. So Mark, are you sustainable here? How much waste is really happening in your warehouse, in your factory?
Well, there's always waste in processes and things, but we've looked at every aspect all the time of how we can become more sustainable, from a stewardship standpoint, but also a financial standpoint. It just makes sense as a business not to throw good product in the trash. So part of it is being vertically integrated, so we don't have a lot of waste. Part of it is not having a lot of inventory sitting around that goes bad, that gets thrown in the trash. Part of it is even when we reupholster furniture, which we do occasionally, that stuff gets recycled in instead of thrown in the trash can. So it's really just about thinking about the process and not feeling guilty about it, but just saying, this makes total sense. If we eliminate waste, we're better for everybody, including the company.
Yes.
In 2009, we invested in photovoltaic solar. So we have 10,000 square feet on our roof of PV solar, and these are the collectors. So we offset our electric usage 80% by solar. We even recycle our sawdust. We have mushroom growers in town who come and pick up our bags of sawdust. So the oyster mushrooms at the farmers markets are grown in Pacific sawdust. I know.
Mark, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was great to see you, Matt.
Good to see you again.
Mark. Thanks for having us today.
Yeah, I hope we help somebody buy better furniture and not regret their choices.
Made in America.
So thank you for joining us on our tour today. I hope you learned a lot. Did you?
I learned a lot.
That's the first time you've been inside a factory.
It is. It was really amazing. I mean, I knew from working with you, like the amount of quality and craftsmanship that goes into making furniture, but it's really good to see the building of it and then to see the actual finished pieces at the showroom were like so chef's kiss.
And how proud the employees are of what they do.
Yeah.
Right?
They're really great guys.
They put their all into it, and it is their livelihood, and it shows. So it was just great, and I thank you all for joining.
And thank you to Pacific Furniture and Mark for taking us through today and for having us in your space.
Yes. All right, don't forget to
Like and
subscribe.
we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.